What's up, everybody? John Eric Polai here with My MMA News, and today's guest will be fighting Maíra Mazar in her PFL debut. That fight date is going to be on August 18th. Those fights coming from New York City, joined today by Kaytlin Neil. Kaytlin, great to see you again. How's everything going?
Going awesome. How are you?
Yeah, doing great. Busy time of the year for me. Obviously, busy time of the year for you with this upcoming fight here. So let's get started right there. This is kind of a long time coming for you. You and the PFL have been in talks for a while, either the Challengers Series. I know you didn't get a contract on that show, but they liked you. They wanted you to be a part of that roster. Now it's finally here. Just how excited are you for this moment to finally make this PFL debut?
Oh, I'm like way pumped for it. Fighting in New York. It's a big stage. It's a big promotion, so I'm like stoked.
And I know every promotion does things differently. I was just wondering for fight week, have you gotten any word of like what the schedule's like? You kind of just going everything blindly. I know you did have the Challenger Series. I don't know if they operate the Challenger Series, how they do a normal fight week or not.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's going to be very similar to the Challenger Series. So we fly into New York that Monday, and then we're there all week doing like promotion, weight cutting, that kind of stuff. So I assume it's going to be pretty similar, but I'll be there all week.
And I know you can't really get to take in a lot of the great things New York City has to offer, being there obviously on a business trip. But for you, I believe first time in the Northeast, definitely first time in New York City. What's that excitement level like to land inside the Big Apple and kind of you get to see a little bit of the city, you get to see of it ahead of the fight?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited for that. I've never been in New York, so I'm excited after I weigh in to eat the food and hopefully I'll be able to go see like a couple of like sites and like that kind of stuff, but I'm like way excited for it.
Do you have anything set in stone that's planned, or are you just gonna kind of play everything by ear once you get out there?
I'm just gonna play everything by ear. I don't want to like plan something and then have the plan like fall through or like get run into like other plans that PFL had for me. So I'm just gonna play everything by ear, do what I can, but my main focus will be on the fight. So I won't necessarily be much of a tourist.
Now, family, are they coming out for this one, that it's kind of going to be in a cool venue and everything, or are they staying back in Utah?
So my parents are coming out, and then I have like a group of friends that are coming out to watch. So there should be a decent amount of people there yelling for me.
Definitely, and it's all definitely very exciting for you to be at this stage of your career fighting in the PFL. Let's start talking now a little bit more about this upcoming fight here. Let's get into the actual specifics. We'll start with training camp. You're in Vegas out in Syndicate right now. Just how's camp been going?
Camp's been going awesome. It's been really tough. It's been draining, but it's been good. Like I feel prepared. I feel ready. And I still have a few more weeks to go. So, I mean, I'm excited for it and I feel good, and it's only going to get better from here.
And I know when we spoke the last time after the Challenger Series victory, it was funny. We were talking about your cat Potato starved herself, correct? If I'm not mistaken, she had a few medical issues. You had to go back from Syndicate to Utah to check up on her. She's okay now, though, right? That's all behind us now. She's good with you being in Vegas now for camp?
She is good and she is healthy, but she's still a diva. So yeah, last time she went on a hunger strike because I left. And I guess cats are kind of sensitive in that way, where they'll do things like that if like they go through a stressful situation or their owner leaves for an extended amount of time. So I feel bad, but it costed me $1,700 to get her to start eating again. And I'm like, Potato, we need to make sure that we eat this time when I leave, okay? No hunger strikes.
Well, it's glad that she's not doing that again there. Number one for the health wise and especially money wise too.
Yeah.
But I don't. Yeah, animals can be pretty expensive at times. That's for sure. Let's get back into the training conversation here though a little bit. I know we've talked in the past a lot about Syndicate and you absolutely love going out there, being a part of that team out there, but you're not there full time, of course. Obviously, you do go back to Utah and you train out there. Just curious how that kind of works when you get out to Syndicate. Do you try, I guess, to come in shape, ready to go day one, like you're not missing a beat there? Or does it take you a little bit when you first get in the gym just to maybe get caught up to maybe some of the people that have been there, all day, all year long, so to speak?
Yeah, so for this time I was sick the past 2 weeks before I went down to syndicate. So it was rough my first week, like basically like week and a half. I was like, holy crap, I feel like I've never trained in my life. Like my cardio sucks, like whatever. But now it's finally like back up to speed. I'm like, okay, good. It feels so much better now that I can like breathe while I'm sparring. But this last time was just like a really hard adjustment. It's like it's not because the training so the training in Vegas is a little bit more intense. I have um a little higher level partners to go with. But I think it's more like my cardio was just like bad because I was sick, and so that was not fun. That was not a fun adjustment.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. That's for sure there. Just curious, too, along the lines of the team there at Syndicate. I know you mentioned a lot of the high-level training partners. Just talk about some of them a little bit and who you've been working with for this camp.
Yeah, so mainly for this camp, I've been working with Ramona Carla. She's a UFC vet, and then she fought like 145 in the UFC, I believe. And then Cynthia Calvillo, she's been helping me a lot with my grappling and that kind of stuff. Then we have Destiny McCubbin, she's helping me. She's an amateur that looks almost like identical to my opponent. So she's going to be helping me with my cage rounds. And then I have a couple other girls that like pop in. We have Jasmine DeVicious, who was here last week. Juliana Miller, who I fought on The Ultimate Fighter. She was here last week. So me and her actually got in a few training sessions together, which was kind of fun to train with her. But yeah, it's been so much fun having all these girls around.
I know you mentioned about having a training partner that looks very similar to your opponent. That's one of the good things about when fighters do belong to bigger gyms like a Syndicate, for example, because you don't see that everywhere. I mean, how important is it that right there, just that part of it, that you're able to go to the gym and pretty much see the exact look that you're going to see on fight night?
I mean, it's so awesome. It helps you like prepare so much better. You're like, okay, I know this girl is like gonna fight this way or like similar. So like just to be able to be like prepared for something that's gonna come your way, it just makes for me personally, it makes me feel so much more confident walking into the fights, being like, okay, I've trained with girls either on this girl's level or like much higher. So this is gonna be an easier fight for me because everything that I've been put through training is like so much harder than this 15-minute fight.
And now let's talk about your opponent here now a little bit. Just what do you know of her? What have you seen out of her, and how you kind of, expecting to see things play out on fight night?
Yeah, so she was on the Challenger series with me. So I actually met her in person, and she was like sitting next to me when we were doing the weigh-ins. And she was like a little bit like intimidated by Helen. She was like, what the? Because Helen Peralta was there. She was just being Helen, and she's kind of like loud and like funny and that kind of stuff. And so I was like, yeah, she's always like that. Imagine living in a house with her for 5 weeks. And she's like, what? And I was like, on The Ultimate Fighter. She's like, oh, I thought you looked familiar. So she would like me and her like kind of like talk, like just had a little chit chat. So she seemed really nice and friendly. And a lot of my teammates actually like know her and have trained with her and that kind of stuff. So she seems like she's going to be a really respectful opponent. Probably similar to like Hannah Guy, like how me and her are very like cordial, we're kind of like friends and that kind of stuff. But when we get in the cage, it's a game face.
Definitely. And then another thing too, I guess, along the lines of this whole PFL contract and everything that I want to ask. Obviously, this is number one here, coming in, getting this fight out of the way. But PFL does things a little bit different than the other promotions. And by that being, they run a season platform. Like when you're fighting, there's going to be fighters that are in the playoffs now. So it's not like they're going the full calendar year. They do have that little break in there. So for you, I guess is the plan to get another fight in 2023? I know when I talk to other fighters and other promotions, that's a lot more maybe realistic than with the PFL, because their season ends, I believe, November. So you kind of might be a little bit of a quick turnaround there.
Yeah, no, I don't think I will fight again in 2023, but in 2024, I'll be fighting 3 times if the $1 million tournament goes through in my weight class. So that should be fun, but I'll just be preparing for that basically. And it'll be kind of nice because I can kind of slightly enjoy my holidays while I'm still training. But I think this will be my last fight for 2023, unless something pops up real quick before the year ends. But I don't know. We'll see. This might be the last time I get in the cage this year.
And has the PFL given any indication on that 125-pound division, if they're going with that for next year? Or is that all still kind of up in the air too?
So as of right now, I'm contracted in it, but there is like a release thing, a contingency, like if it doesn't go through, you're released. So I'm hoping it goes through because that'd be a nice payday, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, obviously a lot of moving parts there, but obviously you 100% want to remain with the PFL. Obviously, you're hoping that goes through because you've, if I'm not mistaken, so far, nothing but positive things to say about the PFL. You're absolutely happy. This is like probably the happiest I think you probably might even be throughout your career so far with this promotion, right?
Yeah, I feel like I have a healthy relationship with the PFL. With other promotions, it was always like, I felt like I was like disposable, but I feel like the PFL actually like really likes me and they want me to fight for them and that kind of stuff. So it's nice being like treated like you're valuable, you know? So that's why I really like the PFL. So I'm hoping the $1 million tournament goes through, but if it doesn't, I mean, it's not the end of the world.
And then I guess along those lines too, with all that being said, I guess, you know, how important is this fight here to go out, get a win, and establish that momentum then for 2024, since this is likely the last time that we're going to see you this year?
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm putting all of my heart, soul, body into this fight just because I know it could be my last fight this year. And I don't really like waiting super long between fights either. I kind of get like antsy and like, what do I do with my hands? Like, I really like to be active and staying active. So I'm gonna go out there, put on like a huge performance, make a statement, and then hopefully next year we'll just take off from that.
And then just one other thing, too, before we wrap things up here for the day. I know we were talking before about training with Syndicate. Obviously, there's going to be a gap now between this fight and a fight next year. How do you approach training? Will you keep coming up to Syndicate when you don't have a fight planned, or how do you go about that type of stuff?
I'll probably just stay in Utah. I get awesome training in Utah. Like I get a good technical work. I get more kind of like hands-on coaching and that kind of stuff. I get more like attention. I guess I would say because I'm like a big fish in a little pond rather than a little fish in a big pond in Vegas. So I like getting like my technical work in Vegas. And then I also have like a few guys that like really push me in Utah. So it's nice training with them and they have fights coming up. So I want to help them too. But I'll probably stay in Utah until like 5 to 6 weeks before a fight, and then I'll head down to Vegas.
All right. I never asked you this question before about Utah, so now I'm curious that I have to ask it. I'm just going to go ahead and assume anyway here. Are you a skier?
Oh, I thought you were going to say Mormon. Okay.
No, I knew that because we spoke about that before, but not for a good thing. 'Cause I was asking you about the Netflix documentary "Keep Sweet, Pray, and Obey," and you're like, "No, we're not all like that."
Yeah, I'm also not LDS either, so it's like, yeah, but they're not like that. I promise they're like way more normal than what Netflix shows. But I am not a skier. I'm actually, for living in Utah, I'm very indoorsy. I like warm. I like hot tubs. I like the heat. So actually, I thrive in Vegas. Like when it's 110 degrees outside, I'm like, this is great. I love this. But yeah, I'm not a skier. I've skied probably like once or twice in my life. Hated it because I don't like the cold.
Hey, I'm the same exact way as you. I prefer to be in the warm weather, and I'm in the Northeast. I'm in Pennsylvania, and I've 0 times have I ever skied. So we have a lot in common there, that's for sure. All right, Kaytlin, I appreciate the time as always. It's always great speaking with you. Thanks again for making the time for this. Just last thing before you head out for the day, social media, so people know where to follow you at. You have any management or sponsorships, anything like that you got to plug? Floor is yours.
Totally, yes. So I'm Kaytlin Katniss MMA on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. If you type in Katniss, like Katniss from the Hunger Games, I'll pop right up. Other than that, Century Martial Arts, thanks for sending me my gear, my gloves, shin guards, that kind of stuff. And then Frey Skincare, thanks for keeping my skin glowing during my fight camps. And then Kiava Clothing, they have really cute swimming suits and sports bras, training outfits, and that kind of stuff. So huge thank you to those 3 companies for making it possible for me to like come out to Vegas and be able to train. So it means a lot to me.